everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio. So we are in the, is this the first week of January or the second? Because you know that week of, especially when the holidays are right in the middle. So last week was kind of the first week of January, but I feel like this week is now the first week of January. So I have a ton of new stuff to show you. I would like to show it to you all at once. I would just like to sit and film and create and post. But I have both my card club and my try it class. Try it class needs to be cut. So I have ordered all this stuff. We started some of the cutting last night. So as much as I want to just create and show you, those of you that are in the Try It class and are waiting for those 10 projects to get to you, I'm sure are eager for me to start cutting. Some of this stuff won't be here until a couple of days from now because we didn't have enough to do everything. But hopefully that'll go out in the mail middle-ish next week. I would hope that would be optimal. So you know, you just never know. After I got sick for so long, and I have heard from so many of you that you also got the unknown illness that lasted for a couple of weeks. So anything can throw a wrench into it, but my goal is to get it out next week. So what I have for you, I have two fun cards or interesting cards, or they're kind of different, two of them. And then I have, those of you that are in Card Club, I have an idea with your bonus set. So I'm going to film these real quick and then they'll be ready to post, and then I will get all of the cutting and all of the stacking and all of that filming and all of the labeling done for my Try It. And then next week sometime I'll film a few more things. So I'll get 3 things done for you. So come back because they are, like I said, interesting. So right now we have Celebration. It goes to the end of February. Everything in this catalog that you see an order thing for is free. The other thing when I was designing these projects is my studio is small, very small, very, very small. So we always have to cut all of my class paper downstairs. So once I start taking like all of the new ribbon, all of the new embellishments, all of that's downstairs for the most part. So I started doing these cards and I'm like, I don't have a whole lot of new other than stamp sets and paper to show you, but I made it work. So come back next week after that's cut. And the other thing is, some of them, I knew if I used it all, then I wouldn't have what I needed to, if like some of it, I just might have enough to cut and have enough for packets. And what will come next week will replenish that. And I didn't want to use it and then start cutting, because it's horrible if you cut 85 of something. If you need 85 and then you only have 72 of one and 61 of the other, because I hate counting, and so to count twice, I just want to do the 85 and be done. The mini catalog is going now, and then what I'm using today, I think maybe everything. This is a very poor representation of our new online exclusives. Yeah, so I think everything for the most part I'm using today is an online exclusive. If you're on my email list, I sent the page. You can search Stampin' Up's website by online exclusives, but I'm going to use the Everyday Skies paper. I'm going to use the white woven ribbon because it was up here, and then I'm going to use the mixed labels, stamps, and dies, and I'm going to use all of the dies except for I guess there's 2. One of them is downstairs, one of them is in the cutting area for downstairs, but that is where I found the things for today. I have some buying specials. I always have thank you gifts, so go make sure you check out my website. So here's the mixed labels dies. I didn't use this one, and then there is the shape, whatever shape I put on the Try It card that uses these. But you can see it has, I'm going to make a sympathy card. It has your pretty wonderful anniversary, a thank you, a kindness thing, glad we're friends. It has the label for the label, and then it has the other, for the larger label, and then it has the other smaller ones. And then the paper that I'm using, I'm going to use a different sheet than I used on the first one, just so we can see 2 different looks with it. So this is called, I think, Into the Skies. Is that what I said? Everyday Skies. So it's a lot of clouds, a lot of night skies. So when I saw this, I thought, well, this will make a pretty sympathy card. And then I saw the stamps, and I'm like, well, there's a sympathy stamp. Some of them have birds in it on one side. This is a similar color scheme to what I used the first time. So this one looks a little too bright maybe for a sympathy card. So let's pick out a different color scheme. But it does have to go. I'm going to use Azure Afternoon. the dies I'm using. So it has to match with this because I have this laying here. That doesn't go great. I should have thought this through. This one will probably work. It's a little got more blue on it than the other one. These 6x6 packs, when there's so many colors, this is the one I used the first time. Sometimes you can just look and look. Is this one two night sky for a sympathy card? What's on the other side? That might help determine. May work. If I was doing this live, I could ask for your opinions. Oh, that one's kind of pretty, but I don't think it has the blue. Nope. If I had a different color cardstock laying here, so I'm going to go with this one. Now you've got to see lots of the sheets of paper. It is I will use the stamp set. It goes with the arches though, and I have arches everywhere because I've used and used and used those arches. You have to get the arch dies. They are fabulous. So for this card, I do want to use the entire sheet of 6x6 because I know sometimes some of you are a little bit, you tell me that you don't like 6x6 because you feel like you waste it, but we're going to make use of all of this. What was on the other side of this one? Oh yeah, this will work perfect. So I'm going to do this 4. So when you do it, kind of think about which half of the paper that you like the best. Sometimes, like maybe if I was not going to use the rest of it, I would just cut the 4 and have a little bit of both. But we'll go this way. This one doesn't really matter. It mattered a little bit more on my other one because there was a lot of blue sky up here and I didn't want so much blue sky, so I cut the bottom. And you can see if I cut this off, I'm going to lose that, or I can lose this. So again, I'm going to cut. So use this. So 4 by 5 1/4 is the size that would typically be a background piece. I want a little bit more of this, so I'm going to go almost 5 1/2, and that'll give us a little bit more. So now we have this, and then we have nothing else to cut. We have these pieces. So there's this little piece here of the die, and it will make a little strip. So we need to decide where we want to put it on the die cut machine. I think I'm going to put it so I mostly get the darker blue. And then we have this piece here. And I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to emboss with my Versamark. Oh, and I did this at my other table, and my embossing stuff is over there. My heat tool's here. I'm going to stamp this here. And it will just do that label. I'm going to put the white on here to kind of brighten this card up just a tad. And then I'm going to flip this one over. And I'm going to do the With Sympathy on it. And it kind of needs to go in the middle because we're going to do the frame around it. Look, I have this. Over here, it's just become a catch-all. So let's empty out my tray since my other one is at my stamping station. Who else does this? All these things from past projects. So many. But now we have this. I'm going to use my white embossing powder. This is just the old white. The new Wow White will work just the same. It's just kind of a different container that they're in. And I have like 4 white embossing powders on my desk. So you can tell that it was Christmas. And I was embossing a lot of stuff in white. So because the word with on this is very fine, you want to make sure that you don't have any extra embossing powder stuck in between those little letters. Otherwise, it will be a blob. There's probably enough extra on this piece that you could still get it here. I don't know that you'd have to switch to the other longer frame. So let me heat set these. All right, so these are done. Let's pull my, these are some of the arches that go with the actual set, ones I haven't been using. In fact, it may be one of those. There are some die sets that I get 2 of just because I use them a lot in classes, and I've already used these for club next time. So sometimes I get an extra set just to have them. So I wanted to show you this because there's an upside and a right side for this label one. If you do it the wrong way, these will be at the wrong angle, and I know somebody's gonna contact me and tell me that their die doesn't work. I'm gonna put all this on here. And then there's a little white set of leaves. I'm going to also use this, and I'm going to run it through twice, so I have 2 of them. So let me cut all this stuff out. Okay, now we just have to stick all of this together. So I have my Azure Afternoon, which is a color that I very rarely use. But it looks really nice with these papers. It's a nice bright blue, so I think it's okay for a sympathy card because it's bright, but it's not primary bright. Then let's just take this. Here's the white ribbon that's also part of the suite. I'm sure you can color it. I'm sure we can dye it. There will be a ton of fun things that we can do with it. But like I said, this is kind of a quick card. I want a nice straight cut, and that one kind of folded on me. And then I'm just gonna put this on here. When I do sympathy cards, I tend not to put big fancy bows. I tend not to put much shimmer or shine. I want it to be tasteful. So I'm gonna add some ribbon and not have a bow. And I think this white ribbon works well for that. Because this paper would be fabulous shimmered, and I will do that in one of those darker pieces. It will be fabulous. So maybe that will hit the slate next week. So add this on here. And so now we have, that's why I wanted the end to be nice. So now we're just going to kind of build these pieces up. So let's start with our label. And I am going to use some dimensionals. So with this, you wouldn't have to emboss it. I think it just adds a little bit more interest because this card is a sympathy card, so it's fairly simple. So I'm just going to add this here. And then I'm going to get my With Sympathy, which you might not be able to see it so well on camera. You can see it fine up close. If that bothers you, then choose first where you're going to do the With Sympathy, and you could hit a darker piece of the blue. And then we have this piece here. I should have knocked all the holes out of it from the first time I did it, but you know, I didn't. So I did find that they came out easy on my other one by just doing this. Okay, we got them all. And I want this to have a little bit of movement. So for it, I'm just going to take my adhesive and just put it there. And then let's just add that. And then I'm going to put some dimensionals on this piece as well. And this can sandwich right over the top. And then let's grab our little white leaves. And then embellishments, again, are kind of, do you want an embellishment on on a sympathy card or no? So it's kind of just a personal choice. It may depend on who it's going to. So here it is without. Then I thought it just needed a little something more. So I did just the iridescent pearls, because I think they're understated enough and they look really good with this paper. So I added 1 to the label, and then you want an odd number, so then I did 4, just kind of going up to heaven. So they're definitely not blingy, and I think they kind of add a little bit more interest to the card. So here it is with this paper. Super easy. Couldn't be any easier. In fact, sympathy cards are one of those ones I know that it's nice to have a stash of. That way you don't have to make them when you're also sad. Here it is with the other paper. So really, I would say half the papers in this pack would work for a sympathy card, and then the other ones you can pull out one of the happier sentiments. Or the other thing that you could do if you like to kind of work ahead is just make them have some of the little labels for the top just ready, and then if you need a thank you card, pop one of those on. It would also make a great gift to do that for people. And when you do that, just include the dimensionals on the back of those and don't peel off the back, and then just put them in a little baggie, and then your friends and family who don't create cards will have some for their supply. So here's this one, 2 more for you, and then I'm off to cut for Try It. Have a great one. Bye.